Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome to It's Still Real to Me. I'm your host, John Kuchar, aka Johnny Fashion. With me in the studio again, not in the studio actually, Big Ben Harmon across the way, Google Hangouts. What's going on, Harmon?
Nothing much. What's going on? It's Friday, finally.
It is Friday. And you've been making the trip up here as of late, so and I appreciate that. But not so much tonight. You got to save on that gas at some point, so I understand.
I'm buying a car specifically designed to get me the best gas mileage to get to your house.
Oh, perfect. That sounds great.
It's
I
got
like that. I like that I never return the favor either. And
ever.
I'm such a jerk. I'm the worst
This
podcast
is like
host.
the 1 year anniversary of like me being involved with this, and you have never once come down this way.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
What a dick.
I know. I'm such an asshole. So we got a good show today. Hopefully, I think it's gonna be awesome. I have high hopes for this show every week. We're gonna do a Royal Rumble review show. We don't do a ton of review shows, but we do some review shows for the ones that we really like. So we've got a special guest here tonight. We've got good buddy Ben Cyr, owner of Kodiak Fitness. He's going to join us for this. I saw some tweets from Ben about griping about the Royal Rumble, so I thought it'd be awesome to have him on, and so he can say some of those gripes. Ben, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, John. How you doing?
Doing awesome, man. So happy to have you on. So, because
I'm glad to be here. I mean, like you said, I got a ton of gripes.
I love it, man. I love it. So, all right, man. Well, let's just start running down the card here, and then like we kind of usually do. So, let's see here. Well, first of all, before we even get into any matches, overall, without getting into too crazy specifics, I thought overall the Royal Rumble this year was actually pretty good. Compared to the last couple years, I thought it's on the upswing. Harmon, what do you think about that?
I thought it was a pretty good show. It was just getting a little late in the day for me. I think I passed out for like entrance 20 through 29.
Yeah, I did have to smack you to wake you up a little bit. So
yeah.
That was all right. Ben, overall, what did you think?
Honestly, you say I think it's on the uptake, and I think it took a drastic turn this year over the last two. They basically fed the fans the whole result pretty much from the beginning, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want the whole booing of the face, and I think it backfired.
Really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when we get into specifics here by match, we'll get more into that. So let's see. First match, pre-show. We'll start out with a pre-show. It was like this weird tag team thing. It was Mark Henry and Jack Swagger versus Darren Young and Damian Sandow versus the Dudleys versus the Ascension. And the winner being Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. And then they earned spots into the Royal Rumble, which really didn't seem to pan out very much because I think that they were combined in the Royal Rumble maybe like 30 seconds total. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like such a wasted spot and such a wasted match. The match, I don't know. It didn't seem too memorable for me, except the crazy botch ending. Harmon, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked AJ Styles coming in at number 3. Was it 3 or 2?
He was 3, but we're talking about just the pre-show match, the Swagger Mark Henry winning.
That I don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. Are you still shopping on WWE Shop? Is that why you missed my whole thing there? Get
Yes.
off WWE Shop and stop buying Kevin Owens stuff.
Sorry.
Get out of here. Pay attention to this podcast, you son of a bitch. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger winning. What do you think about that?
Oh, we're still talking to me?
Oh my God.
I'm told you I didn't pay attention to that match.
You didn't
In
pay
the
attention to
toilet.
it at all?
I don't even remember what happened.
Okay.
I remember they won, and we were like, yay, Swagger.
Okay. Ben, what did you think about that match? Did you watch it?
No, I missed it.
Missed the pre-show?
No,
Okay.
honestly, I heard that was going to be the opening match, and you pretty much could tell who was going to be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we kind of all predicted. I thought maybe they would give it to the Dudleys just because they're the Dudleys and Bubba. I really want Bubba to break out as a singles guy, even though I hate him. So I thought that maybe they'd go that route, but they didn't. They went with Swagger and Mark Henry. And like I said, it didn't really pay off for anything. The ending of this match was really fucked up, though. Like, a classic moment by Mark Henry again, where something doesn't go according to a plan, and he just freezes. And he was like almost trying to cover the wrong man, and then he was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I'm supposed to be over here covering this guy," and like so much time had passed between. I think it was Victor, who had gotten hit somehow like with a finisher, and Mark Henry's like, "Oh shit, I'm supposed to be covering Victor," and he goes over there and covers him for the win. But it was just so weird because so much time had passed. Yeah, so
like, who's covering who here?
Yeah, and then it was just like, all right, I guess they won. So, I don't know. So, yeah, it was kind of a throwaway match. The match itself, nothing to write home about. I can barely remember one spot except for that botched one. But then, yeah, like I said, both those guys go in the Rumble and get dumped out pretty quickly. So, moving right along, first match of the night on the main card, Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens for the IC belt in a last man standing match. Harmon, you are the Kevin Owens aficionado here, so why don't I let you go first? What do you think of this match? How do you think this thing went down?
As far as this year goes, that is our first 5-star match of the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's our first match of the year candidate. I loved it. It was a lot of aggression, a lot of setting up spots for later, and then like you kind of forgot about it, like when he set up the double tables and they went over to the other side of the ring and were screwing around, and then when they finally got back to that side with the double tables, you were like, oh yeah, those are still out there, and it just I liked it. I liked the psychology of it. I liked the setup for it.
Yeah, I agree. Benny, what did you think, man?
I'm right on board with you guys. That was the match of the card. Anytime you put a last man standing match on a pay-per-view, if it's done right, it's usually the show stealer, and I have no gripes with that match at all.
Nice. Now, Ben, I kind of, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of picture you as a classic, like, Attitude Era kind of fan, like, rough and tumble, stone cold, kind of crazy wrestling fan. These two guys kind of fit right into that mold, Ambrose and Owens. Just your take on both of these guys, like them being fairly new to WWE, in a couple of years. So
they're not just
what do you think, Ben?
Guys. They're old school guys. They're
right.
Like classic '80s wrestlers. Smash mouth, 100 miles per hour. But then the attitude part of them is they can get on a mic and they can work a mic. Kevin Owens, in my opinion, if they don't put the world title on him this year, they're going to lose momentum. It's a classic Cody Rhodes a few years ago when he had all the momentum in the world. He could have taken that world title. Now he's a mid-card jobber. So you can't. It's one of these things that do that to Owens in a few years. He's basically pulling a Cody Rhodes every night.
Yeah, no, I totally, man. We're big Cody Rhodes fans, and especially Stardust fans too. I think his whole gimmick could, we kind of always find our way back to having a Stardust conversation. But I agree, man. Kevin Owens is the real deal, and Ambrose too. I mean, not trying to skip ahead, but. And
right.
That was so exciting near like the very end of the Rumble. I was like, oh my god, this could be it. But anyway, no spoilers. So we had Ambrose retaining this match, retaining the IC belt. A great spot to finish. I had almost forgotten that Owens set up those two tables like outside the ring, and then they did a lot of they dedicated a lot of time to like setting up all those chairs in the middle of the ring, like near the end. So I was like. I think that was kind of the big swerve because they obviously didn't even use them because Owens got reversed onto the two tables out the ring for the win. I just thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was great. I thought it was aggressive. I think one thing that I said to Harmon actually during the match, I said, this is like a really hardcore match, but it's not like your typical hardcore match. It's very meticulous. It's very like it's not like a crazy ECW
match. They would have been non-stop using props. They would have been trash cans,
right.
And they would have been using TV monitors and just everything they could get. But with it being a last man standing match, it was more of a war of attrition. Use what you can, but you don't. You're not bringing out the kitchen sink.
Yeah, it was very smart for as smart as a last man standing match can be. It was a very smart match. I think Ambrose and Owens are both very smart performers as well. Especially Owens. I mean, just his work with the crowd. At one point, I heard him yell out, "Is it November, you idiot?" or something like that to somebody. So I was wondering what that fan yelled to him. His interaction is just so good. He's just not your one trick pony. The guy can just do it all, and he doesn't seem at all strong headed about always getting the wins. I mean, he's already lost a lot since being brought up to the main roster, and maybe not a lot, but I mean more than I think that he should have, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him, and I think that he knows that, and he can take losses like this that still make him look really strong. So, how would you guys? I know we didn't really rank the first match because that was bullshit, but let's rank this match 1 to 10. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say a 9.5. I thought it was just stellar, just pretty amazing. Harmon, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's a 9 easy.
Nice. Ben, what do you think?
Sorry.
I'm right there with you. I'd say 9. No doubt about it. It's early in the year. It is the match of the year so far. So yeah, I got no problem saying 9.
Perfect. All right. Moving right along, we have the tag team title match: New Day versus the Usos. I don't know. I can't remember if I said this on the preview podcast or not, but I wasn't thrilled about this match too much. I mean, the Usos kind of bore me. I love the New Day, but I don't know. There was some chatter about maybe the Usos take this, but I didn't really think that was possible. That being said, I thought the match was okay. I didn't think it was a crazy great match, but I thought it was okay. It seemed like a regular Monday Night Raw match that you could watch, and it was enjoyable. We'll start with Ben. What do you think about that? What do you think about this tag match?
That match there, it was kind of let's just throw the tag titles on the pay-per-view. But we're going to do this every night on Raw and SmackDown for the next month, or we have been doing it for the last month.
Right.
It's just... I'm with you guys. The comedic act behind the New Day is nice. Kofi's a hell of a worker. Big E's a hell of a worker. Xavier I could really care less about. And then the Usos, it's before which one? Jay got hurt last year. It looked like they were headed for a heel turn. And it might have done something for him, and kind of the good guy approach isn't really selling it for me anymore. So, the match overall was okay. It was decent wrestling, but it's the same old thing on Raw every night,
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit it right on the head, man. And who knows about that Usos heel turn? I think that they might have tried to have done some of that same New Day shtick, because I know that they've got a goofy side too, like that. But
right.
I don't know. Nobody will ever know now, obviously, but I don't know. They get very John Cena on me. You know what I mean? It's the same shtick, and it's just been that way for years now with those guys. And I think that they both can work. I think they're exciting in the ring to some extent, but I mean, I can only see so many dives, from them before I go like, yeah, okay, I've seen it before,
Yeah.
So, Harmon, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was, your pretty standard good tag team match. It wasn't, anything to write home about. It wasn't horrible. All those guys can do their jobs well. I think Xavier Woods is not just something that you just, set aside there, Benny. I think he's the heart and soul of that whole thing.
He's a great mouthpiece.
Yeah. Without him being, the manager type out there, I don't think it would have brought Big E and Kofi out of their shells and into their new personas as well.
I'll give you that. I mean, on the mic, he's the one that saves those two because those two are great competitors in the ring. But they don't have the mic skills, compared to Xavier. And speaking of which, you guys watch that ride along with them?
I haven't yet.
I have not yet.
It was hilarious.
Yeah? Oh, man. I can't wait to watch it. I think I started it the other day, and then I was so exhausted I took a nap. Not that it was a boring show, but I was just like, I was just wiped. But anyway, so let's see. I'll go first with the ranking on this. I would say, I don't know. I'd say maybe like a 6, 6.5. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't, it didn't really exceed expectations, I guess. So, Ben, how would you rank this?
I'm giving it 5. It's a mid-card match. It's just a filler. Nothing to. If you ask me in August, September, who's the tag champs and that, I'm probably gonna forget all about it. So.
Right. Yeah.
It's a 5.
Okay. Harmon, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there, middle of the road. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah.
Just because they're both, they work really well together. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's go. Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio for the United States Championship. Fellas, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna let one of you guys go first. Let's see, Harmon, why don't you go first? What did you think of this match?
The match was all right. You've got the contrasting styles of the two different Mexicans here. You got the lucha, high flying style of Kalisto, and you got more the strong, hard style of Alberto Del Rio, more wrestling and MMA based fighting from him. And it works kind of well, you can see the two different styles and how they go against each other, but the whole storyline part of it is just garbage. The United States Championship has never needed John Cena more than it does right now.
I know, right? Jeez. That was really fun when he was the champ. Like, really fun. Just defending it every week. And
yeah.
It was just awesome. I mean, I know people like to shit on John Cena, and we love to shit on John Cena, but, man, but last year was amazing and so great with that U.S. title. And, you can really see, like, the lack of interest in it with him gone. So, Ben, what did you think of this match, Kalisto versus Del Rio?
Man, you guys are too nice on this thing.
Oh, I haven't gone yet, Ben. Ben, I'm about to tear this thing apart. So.
I think Kalisto's a good worker, but when the guy steps in the ring and he's smaller than the shits I take on a daily basis.
Hey, he's still bigger than me.
I have a hard time believing that he's champion material. Okay, good worker though. Won't knock that. And then you got the anorexic Mexican on the other side.
Anorexic? The guy's jacked.
Dude, he's anorexic.
If that's what anorexic looks like, I'm gonna stop eating.
He's pretty shredded, I'll say. Like he's lean.
Yeah, he looks like garbage. like a few years ago, before he got canned, he looked great, I thought, and now he looks like he's anorexic. So he's a good worker. He's a stiff Mexican worker. Whatever. You guys talk about the U.S. title. I'm from the old days when Nikita Koloff and Sting had it and Luger had it. It was like the building block title. And it's like the throwaway title now.
Yeah.
It's time to merge that thing with the IC belt and just get rid of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have that feeling as well, and I don't know if I'm truly on board with it. I'm good with making like a TV title, or just transitioning it to like a more TV title.
Yeah.
I think who was it? I think it was Daniel Bryan when he was the IC champ briefly before he got hurt again. He wanted to only like defend the IC belt on SmackDown, and I thought, like, man, what a great idea. Have the IC belt being only defended on SmackDown, have the US belt only being defended on Raw, like not have a total brand split, but just have those belts be their separate thing, and it could kind of bring some credibility to those titles again, because both of them have suffered, and I think they've really tried to push both of them recently, and the IC belts, obviously getting more exposure with Owens and Ambrose both having it. But since Cena has dropped that belt, it's been hard to watch. But for me, for this match, Kalisto versus Del Rio, I did not like this match, not one bit. It was botch central. I like Kalisto, man. I really want to like him more than I do, because I think he's interesting, and I think that he's like really athletic and does some really cool things that, that not a lot of other guys are doing. Like, his finisher is really cool, but man, like, some of the things he does just drive me crazy. Like, he just doesn't set his feet a lot of times, and he just gets so far ahead of himself, and he nearly knocked himself unconscious. I don't know what they were trying to do. It looked like a really fucked up Canadian destroyer or something, but he looked like
he did brain himself pretty good there.
Yeah, it was really weird, and I just haven't been a fan of these two guys going at it. I don't think that they work well together. There was that weird switch where, like, Kalisto had the belt for like a day. He like won it on Raw and then lost it on SmackDown, which was completely pointless. And now you have Kalisto, who is now a two-time U.S. champion, because Kalisto beat Del Rio. Guys, Kalisto won this match. Just letting you guys know that. If you guys didn't know, yeah. Kalisto won this match. So now Kalisto is our U.S. champ, and I don't know. I'm kind of with Ben a little bit about how I don't really buy it. Not based on his size or anything, but just because I just don't really buy it. I feel like he won it, then lost it, and then just won it again. I don't know. It's just, I always hate that.
I think he makes too many mistakes in the ring to be a champion.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's the lack of. There's no. If you have a champion, you need to have mic skills. You need to be talking to the fans. You can't just sell. Oh, I'm gonna come out and do the friggin' 8-bit music and friggin' throw my hands up in the air and everybody's gonna love me. They're eventually gonna hate you.
Right.
It's an old act, and it's.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind that he isn't the greatest talker on the mic. I mean, Rey Mysterio was never the best speaker, but the guy was an innovator. And I think I said this on the preview show, is that I like Kalisto, but he gets a lot of comparisons to Rey, but he's not like groundbreaking, like how Rey was groundbreaking. I mean, he's doing things that not a ton of guys are doing, but there's other similar styles. There's guys like Neville. There's guys like Apollo Crews down in NXT. There's tons of guys that can do similar things.
The thing is with Rey, you had a guy that was innovative, but he wasn't. He had his sloppy moments, but it wasn't in big matches.
Yeah.
And Kalisto, you put the spotlight on him, and he's gonna screw up in the ring.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Ben. Like, he has really screwed up a lot on the main stage, like at pay-per-views. He had that one, obviously, like that epic spot a couple pay-per-views ago.
TLC.
TLC which was amazing, that one spot, but there's a lot of other moments that he screwed up. So
Right, go back to that match and watch the amount of botches he had in that match.
yeah,
Watch what he did in like what was it? The not Hell in a was it Hell in a Cell?
yeah, it was Hell in a Cell. Yeah, where he was like hanging there.
Yeah,
Is that what it was? Not Hell in a Cell. I know what it is.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. Yeah, that's what it is.
Where he like climbed up and then like was just hanging there. It was like, oh, I thought you were gonna do something cool.
Yeah, it was really weird. They just kind of fell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This match for me, I will rate it like, I don't know. I just don't even think it was that good. I'll give it like a 4.5. It didn't really tell a story. There was botches everywhere. Didn't really care that Kalisto won. I cared way more when Kalisto won on Raw than I did when he won the other night. When he won on Raw, I was like, holy shit, that's surprising. And, you know, besides like recently, the world, heavyweight championship, Reigns winning it, like, you know, there's just not a lot of title changes on Raw, so it's always surprising. But the other night, I was like, I guess. Okay, next match, please. So I'm going to go 4.5. Ben, what do you think?
3. No, I mean,
3.
I don't know. It was awful.
Yeah. Harmon, where are you at with this?
Oh, I'll go 3.5. It's, you know, it wasn't.
Yeah.
You guys kind of talked me out of it. Yeah.
Good enough.
I started out trying to be positive about it, but yeah, you talked me right out of it.
All right, sounds good.
Didn't Kalisto beat Alberto during the tournament for the championship too?
Maybe.
Didn't he knock him out of that?
You're right.
I think so.
No, do you?
No.
No, Del Rio made the semifinals.
Yeah, he beat Ryback. That was his big shocker.
Oh,
He
yeah.
beat Ryback in the first round. That was the big underdog like story, was that Kalisto beat Ryback, and then I think he lost to maybe Del Rio. I don't know, but yeah, Del Rio did make the Final Four. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We've got the Divas Championship match. Charlotte defending against Becky Lynch. Charlotte with Ric Flair, Daddy Ric Flair, in her corner, playing a very integral part in this whole thing. Man, I kind of liked this match a lot. I wasn't thrilled about the ending, but I think both of these ladies can really wrestle. That's no, shocker. I think we've talked enough about ladies wrestling on this on this podcast that I think Becky Lynch is a much better wrestler than Charlotte, but Charlotte has her place. I think Charlotte's fine. People like to shit on her, but I think she's fine. She can carry a match. She's fine. Harmon, what do you think about this match?
I disagree with you.
Really? Well, bring it.
Wow.
Think that Becky Lynch can carry a match. I don't think Charlotte has the ability to carry a match. I think when she goes into a match, she has a very set formula on how her match needs to go. Becky might be able to call different things during the match to keep it going, to keep a flow going, but Charlotte has her, 5 or 6 spots in a match, it seems like. And she only has like a limited moveset, it seems. I mean, some of the moves are very athletic, very, very cool to watch, but she doesn't get a lot of offense, really. It's a lot of kicks, a lot of punches, a lot of flips. It's not real. It's not real pretty to look at. I mean, you watch Becky Lynch, you watch Sasha Banks, you watch Bayley.
Very smooth.
They're athletic. They can tell a story with their wrestling. They sell the moves the right way. They show their facial expressions and stuff, show the right kind of emotion for the time of the match. I think that Becky Lynch has it. Becky Lynch is definitely one of the few girls that I think can do this. Charlotte is just a placeholder right now for Sasha Banks, I think. There were some things in this match that were just plain weird, like Ric Flair sexually assaulting Becky Lynch pretty much on the outside of the ring.
Very strange.
But, I love Becky Lynch, and I wish the best for her going forward. But Charlotte is.
No, we know you love her.
I know I love her.
I mean, she's not fired, Harmon. She's not fired. She's still with the company. So,
I know, but
moving forward, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavor.
I just don't want her to work with Charlotte anymore because Charlotte, I think, she's just horrible.
Really? I don't think she's horrible, man. I mean,
her spear is almost edge bad. It's that bad.
Oh, nothing's edge bad.
Well, she like hits her like on the side. It's like a spinning spear. She ends up like sideways, and then she has to do her fist pump scream afterwards. It's like
very like Roman Reigns-esque.
Yeah, it wasn't that good a spear. Okay, so chill out.
Well, I'll say this. I think that her doing the spear is different than Edge doing the spear because Charlotte is, she's bigger than, most of. She's bigger than Edge. So no, but I mean she's bigger than most of the females that wrestle. I mean, she's at least taller and she's pretty ripped. So
yeah, she's what 5'10", 5'11", $155.
Yeah, I mean she's a monster kind of in that division. So I don't mind her using the spear. I'll agree with you that I don't think that she's the smoothest character in the ring. She definitely has her faults, and I'm not saying she's the greatest. I just don't have a problem with her. I think she's fine. I think that you put her in the ring with almost anybody, and it'll be okay. I think that she'd flounder with someone that is really green, whereas someone like Becky Lynch wouldn't, but or somebody like Sasha Banks wouldn't, but I don't know. I guess I just don't have any like real complaints. I
guess
which is strange.
My main problem with her is that with Sasha Banks, with Becky Lynch, with Bayley, they're playing, I think themselves turned up to 11. That's kind of an extension of who they are. Charlotte is trying to be Charlotte Flair. I don't think she's been given the opportunity to kind of do her own thing and be comfortable in her own persona. She's trying to fit into the Flair peg, and I think it's hamstringing her. It's kind of cutting her off at the knees. She has to do the woo, she has to do the chop, she has to do the strut or whatever, and the 2-step stumble before she hits the mat, and she's gonna do all the Flair stuff. I think it's
But you don't like that?
I mean, I think it's funny. I think it's cool if she did it once in a while, but she has to do it every match. I just don't think. I don't think her being the female Flair, the female Rick, is the right move for her almost. You know? I think she should start to move away from it and try to find her own thing. Yeah,
that's interesting. Ben, what do you think about that? What do you think of Charlotte's? We'll get back to the match, but what do you think of Charlotte in general, just pulling the Flair shtick?
I'm like you, John. Harmon's lost his mind because he loves Becky Lynch and Sasha so much. She does have a bad spear, for one, but she's a spot wrestler. She's got to hit her spots in her match. I don't know if you guys remember this, like a year and a half ago, she had that match with Natalya in NXT.
Yeah.
And I think she worked great.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett and Rick were both at ringside. I thought it was great.
This match here, or any match, her matches, it's like she's on the big stage and she kind of like freezes. So, people like Becky and Sasha and Paige, they're fluid in the whole match. I do agree with John that sometimes she does need help carrying a match. Like, I don't think she can carry a match by herself. But she's the perfect heel woman right now, the heel diva. Like, I remember being a kid, Ric Flair, you hated him. He was a great worker, but you hated him, just because he was cocky and he cheated all the time. And her character just it portrays that,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think she's a great heel right now, especially with like the Bellas being out.
Right.
She's like the perfect heel, and yeah, I I love that she does Ric Flair stuff, because if she didn't, we would all be bitching about how she's not. We'd be like, oh, they've got Ric Flair, like Ric Flair's her dad, like they could just easily transition her to be like Ric Flair. She could be the female Ric Flair, and it would be awesome. Like if she wasn't doing this stuff, like that's what we would all be talking about, because it just writes itself. It's just very easy and just easy to do. Like there you go, you just act like your dad. And the bonus is that we get to see Ric Flair now, like at ringside with her. So I don't know, man. I see where you're coming from, Harmon, at some points, but I think that she's fine. I guess I think we get a little spoiled when we see the Sasha Bankses and the Baileys and the Becky Lynches and how smooth they work. And I don't know. I think that there's definitely spots for people like Charlotte there, and I think she's fine. I don't know.
I mean, I agree with you. If she wasn't doing it, we'd all be bitching about it. This writes itself. Unfortunately, it's writing itself in crayon instead of 5-point pen.
Nicely done. Oh man. I don't know. So getting back to the match, I thought the match was good. I thought they worked fine together. The involvement from Rick I thought was a little strange, especially planting one on Becky Harmon, like you said.
Why didn't he get the match disqualified? Why wasn't he thrown out of the ring?
I was asking myself the same thing, and I guess I'm still asking myself the same thing. But they tend to really let the rules go in Divas matches. Like when the Bellas were doing Twin Magic a lot, like even after it was just blatantly obvious, and like the ref would catch them.
They never reversed decisions.
Yeah, they never did anything.
I think Stephanie reversed one decision once, and that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. But it was. Yeah, it was with Charlotte too. But it was just. It was a weird thing where Charlotte still didn't get the belt, and it was just like, oh, I guess a disqualification. But no, it wasn't even a disqualification. It was just like, I don't know, like they just throw all the rules out. They just go, oh, I guess they just do what they want. But yeah, there's so many moments where I was like, oh, that's a DQ. Why is he still there? Like that's a DQ. Like get him out of here. At least send him to the back. Do that fun spot that gets the crowd roaring, where the ref tells him to, you're out of here, and then the crowd goes nuts and Flair can have a tantrum. Like just do that. Everybody loves that spot. They've been doing that since the 70s. Just do it. But they didn't, and then Rick. So the end of the match, Rick throws his jacket on her, like while she's she's doing the arm bar there. I was like, what the hell is this? It was just the weirdest spot. I thought that he just gracefully tosses his jacket over her to distract her.
Graceful as a 75-year-old.
Right.
Walk around.
I mean, it was a good shot, I guess. But I don't know, man. And then immediately I was like, oh, well, that's a DQ. Like, why wasn't the ref just DQing? Granted, Becky wouldn't have won the belt, but it would have made sense.
She would have got a win in the win, a check in the win column.
Right.
But Charlotte would have kept the belt.
Yeah. So Charlotte ends up retaining. What did she do? Did she roll her up or something? I can't even remember how it officially ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, she rolled her up or something. Sure. So Charlotte ends up winning, and then what happens? Becky Lynch. But the boss comes out, Sasha Banks. We were all very excited to see that. Sasha comes out, kind of plays a little, kicks Becky Lynch out of the ring, and you think, oh, they're just gonna kind of join forces or whatever, and then.
A little honor among thieves or something there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And then, she jumped all over Charlotte and started whipping the crap out of her.
Yeah, which was great, man. And that was the crowd popped huge for Sasha, and I think
move is perfect for that. Oh, you turned your back to me?
Oh, thanks, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's great. So obviously, what's up, Ben?
So here's the thing with that, right? So. The bad part about it is she does that. She holds the move on for feels like forever.
Yeah.
She was really cracking on that thing.
Where is Rick? Okay. And then 2, she gets out of the bank statement and she gets up like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, she
Great
sells the
job
crap.
there, right?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious. Oh, man.
Rick was outside the ring wooing and styling and profiling, wasn't paying attention. And then Charlotte just no-sold the whole move because she had her neck cranked back there. She was really laying it on pretty thick in that when she was doing the bank statement. And then, yeah, Charlotte just no-sold it.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's funny. So, I don't know, man. So, it looks like it's Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Maybe she's getting involved in this feud, and then Becky Lynch is still obviously involved. So they're gonna do like a three-way thing, I'm assuming.
Stop. I
Stop
mean,
it. Yeah, wait, are you getting excited, Harmon? Sorry, didn't mean to.
triple threat, you mean?
Yeah. No, right? I think it's called a three-way. No, it's not. Should I stop saying three-way? I gotta stop saying three-way. Okay. Harmon's having technical difficulties over there. So, Harmon, what's that noise?
I don't know.
That's the cream.
Talking about.
So that'll be interesting to watch because like when all those girls are in NXT, they put on phenomenal matches together. So that's gonna be awesome that they're on the main stage doing it. So I'm really excited to see that. I will say this match. We haven't rated this match yet, right? We talked a lot about this match. I'll say. I don't know. I thought it was a 70, a C minus, whatever that is. I thought it was a 7. Ben, what do you think?
I'm going like 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
It was the second best match on the night, I think.
Yeah. All right. Harmon, what do you think?
I'll give Becky Lynch an 8, and I'll give Charlotte a 6.
All right. So
And I'll
7.
give Rick a 4.
Poor Rick. Come on.
No, I give it a 7.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. Main event time, right? Unless I'm forgetting something, but I think we're good. Main event time. Royal Rumble. Guys, I love the Royal Rumble. I can't say it enough. Not specifically this Royal Rumble, but I love the Royal Rumble match itself. I love the premise of it. I love that it's something different. I love that it has like prestige. It's been around forever. I think it's I want to say their second oldest or maybe third oldest out of the big. Is it third? Survivor Series? SummerSlam.
I think Survivor Series is older.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, it is because I remember a Survivor Series with Ken Patera at one time. So, yeah. But anyway, I like that it's that it dates back to like '89 or something, and I just think it's a great premise of a match. So,
yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm right there with you. It's my favorite. It's my most favorite event of the year. It's better, in my opinion. I like it better than WrestleMania.
Yeah, same here.
And for the last 15 years, 16 years, it's been the same premise. We're gonna set up our main event for WrestleMania. The guy who's gonna win is going on at WrestleMania to basically main event. And this year, you throw in the whole mix of the titles up for grab with the champion being in the match. I thought that was great.
I did too.
Where it stops.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I didn't hate this match, but I didn't love it. There were definitely some glaring things that I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why didn't this happen or why didn't that happen?
Yep.
So, right out of the gate, Roman Reigns, number 1, which we all knew, per, Vince McMahon. Number 2, Rusev, which I thought was fine. I like Rusev. These guys were the last 2 last year. What I didn't like is that Rusev only spent a minute and a half in this Rumble, and that's no exaggeration. That is the exact time, a minute and a half in this Royal Rumble. Did not like that one bit. I think Rusev he deserves way more than that. I predicted, and I'm not saying that he's following this suit or this trend, but I predicted Rusev to be a comedy character like a year ago when he was, going on like that undefeated streak and all this stuff. I was like, man, in like 3 years, this guy's gonna be like doing comedy with like Santino or something. Like and I think that he's kind of heading that way. This is kind of the very, very, very start of it. He spends a minute and a half in the Royal Rumble. That's bullshit. The guy's way better than that. He's a great worker. He's a threat. Excuse me. He's a threat on the roster. I mean, he's a good-sized guy. Like a minute and a half in a Royal Rumble, that's garbage.
I'm looking at the guys who spent less time in the ring than Rusev. Tyler Breeze, Curtis Axel.
Yeah, which is understandable. Sure, I buy that.
Mark Henry, Jack Swagger. That's it. Those are the guys who spent less time in the ring than Rusev.
Yeah, it's not a lot, man.
No.
Yeah, that's terrible. To say that Rusev, I mean, I think he's one of, he's probably he's upper mid tier. He's kind of like right at the cusp of like, it wouldn't surprise me that like if for some strange reason he were to be like, vie for the title at some point this year, just as a filler on like on a pay-per-view that's not like a big one, just because he's there and he's part of like the League of Nations. But I don't know, man. Ben, what do you think of Rusev? What do you think of his spot here at coming in number 2?
I thought it was a good setup of let's start where we finished last year, and then you get him thrown out in the first minute and a half, which I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But it's like if you watch that match, now that we know all the details and stuff, right? You have Rusev in there until that spot when they take Reigns out on the stretcher, because at that point in the match, there's nobody from the League of Nations in the match at all. They just bum rush the ring, and then they stretch him out. Now, if you have Rusev in there till like number 15 or so, and they do that spot, I buy it.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I don't see how, if you're promoting your League of Nations as the top heel faction right now, you can't have one of their members eliminated in under 2 minutes.
And then the other guy loses title earlier in the card.
Exactly.
It's like,
and then better knock him down a peg.
And then Wade Barrett not even on the card, like except for the the bum rush, like you said. But other than that, it's like that guy. I will spare you guys another Wade Barrett or King Barrett spiel. I'm done doing it. I spend way too much time talking about him. in my dissatisfaction that the way that WWE uses him. Anyway, moving along. So Rusev is gone. Reigns is the only guy in the ring. Big surprise for number 3. AJ fucking Styles. Holy shit. I thought it was a weird spot for him at number 3, but I was so excited to see him. I thought it was very cool.
Flying off the couch when he came out.
Yeah, I was very excited. I will say the only thing I wasn't excited about was seeing Roman Reigns' face the entire time, like during his entrance. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Like, this is the worst.
Done.
Yeah, dude. Like, put the camera. Like, I didn't even see the Titantron. Like, what his Titantron looks like what his graphics look like. I could barely hear his music. I was like, what is going on? It was just kind of very anticlimactic to start, and then once I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, it's AJ Styles. Holy shit! But you see just Roman Reigns like squinty eyes going like, who's this? Like selling it. And again, man, I think Harmon, I think you and I got into a little discussion on the preview podcast about how I think that the WWE they think Roman Reigns is like John Cena and Stone Cold. They think he is that level, and I think you disagreed with me, but this again just kind of proves it. Like, you have AJ Styles debuting, and where's the camera? Roman Reigns. Like, it's all about Roman Reigns all the time.
That proves that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That doesn't prove that Roman Reigns is the next Stone Cold?
No. I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying
Oh.
that Vince in WWE think that Roman Reigns is.
Oh.
They think that Roman Reigns is the next guy. Like, they think he's the next Rock. They think he's the next Stone Cold. They think he's the next John Cena. We all know that he's not, but it's like all the cameras are on Roman Reigns during an epic AJ Styles debut. And unfortunately, that's how AJ Styles' debut is going to go down in the history books. They can't change the camera angle on that now. Like,
No.
That's how it went, you know? When I look at... I'm sorry, go for it.
This is the problem with everything going through a 72-year-old man before it hits TV.
Yeah.
On Sam Roberts' podcast this week, he had a former creative writer on the show, and the guy was in creative for about a year, and he got canned. And he said, oh no, he says, the guys in creative are just like you guys out there in the podcast world, out in the Smarky universe. He says, everything you think of, they've thought of too, but it gets filtered through a 72-year-old man, and this is what you get.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean,
all the cool stuff that you guys think of, we've thought of that too. And
yeah.
It just never makes it.
Yeah, that's too bad. That being said, Styles, he kind of slowly walks down the ring, which I thought was really great. His music's awesome. He lasts a really long time in the ring, or I mean, longer than most people in this.
28 minutes in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal with that 28 minutes.
Yeah, bring it.
Now that we can play in the past, it was okay at the time, but this week here and in all the trash sites and everything and all the podcasts talking about AJ Styles. I love AJ Styles. Don't get me wrong. If you're gonna promote him as much as you've wanted to this week, you get that guy to go to the Final Four. You don't have him get eliminated mid-pack, and then you promote the hell out of him on Raw and SmackDown on your website. I wanted him to go right to the end.
Well, he only threw out two guys.
Right.
He eliminated Tyler Breeze and Curtis Axel. And Tyler Breeze, he had to have Roman Reigns' help. So he was in there for almost 28 minutes. He eliminated the two guys that came in 4 and 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that it was an okay spot, but I would have liked him to have more of an impact on something. I really wanted him to eliminate Reigns and come in as like a heel and be like authority's like assassin and just take out Reigns. Like, that was my whole idea for him. It would just be immediate impact, and I don't know, like, I think he just gets kind of not stuck, because I don't think it's a bad place to be, but I think he's automatically kind of in the mid-card thing right now, and I hope he just doesn't get lost in the shuffle. I think he's got enough worldwide fans that he's not going to, but WWE has a way of just really losing momentum with guys, and I know he went against Jericho on Raw, which doesn't have the same amount of legitimacy as it used to, but it was an okay match, and I thought it was fine. And I don't know who he fought on SmackDown, because I don't really watch SmackDown.
Axel.
Well, it was Axel, yeah. So again, it's kind of a lower mid card guy, or just low card guy with Axel now. So I don't know. I just hope that I would have liked him to immediately start a feud with Kevin Owens, because he got eliminated by Owens. I don't know. I just don't know where they're going to go with it. I'm bored with Jericho. Like I said, I thought the match was okay that they had on Monday, but I hope it doesn't go any further than that. But anyway, I thought Styles' debut was okay. I was super excited that he was just there. But again, wish he would have had more of an impact. So moving on, there's kind of just a bunch of, besides, Jericho, the next couple entrants are kind of lower card guys, Breeze, Axel, Kane, kind of came back, Demon Kane. That Rumble is kind of his thing, or at least it used to be. So that was good to see his face in there. Goldust, Ryback, guys that are kind of filler. Kofi was in. Kofi had an interesting role. Well, actually, not even a role, but like an
He
interesting
had his Kofi
spot.
spot this year, yeah.
Yeah, he had that spot where he got thrown over and got on Big E's shoulders. Unfortunately, we missed his elimination again. Thank you, Kevin Dunn. But yeah,
he was Jericho eliminated him. It was Jericho's only elimination out of the almost 51 minutes that Jericho was in the ring. He eliminated one guy, and we missed it.
Yeah. Jericho. Yeah, Jericho has been. He was in there after Axel. So, yeah. Wow, Jericho, man, 50 minutes at his age. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, again, one elimination, and he wasn't really doing a ton, but still, that's a lot of time for.
Yeah, he leaned on a lot of turnbuckle in that.
It's true. Let's see. Ryback didn't really play a role. Kofi, like we said. Titus came in, did kind of like what he does best, kind of that hot tag thing. You know, he comes in and clears the house, but other than that, he was a non-factor. Then we start getting.
R-Truth comes down, busts out a 20-foot ladder, sets it up in the ring. Big Show just watches him, and he climbs the ladder like he's gonna win the championship, and then he's like, "What?"
Yeah, Harmon, you picked it up. You picked up on it like way sooner than I did. I was just like, what the hell is he doing? Like, what is happening? Yeah. I guess I just don't pay enough attention to R-Truth and about his like crazy schizophrenia, but I was just like,
doesn't know what's going on ever.
Yeah, I was just like, what is happening? So I bought right into it. I was just like, this is the weirdest thing ever. I thought it was pretty funny though.
Yeah, because I think Kane I was thinking it was Kane, looked right at him and was just like, what? Or the Big Show like knocked a ladder over, threw the ladder out, and then Kane just launched him out of the ring. Was like, you're done.
Yeah. Oh man. We got Luke. We start getting some Wyatt guys in here. Luke Harper, your boy Harmon. He's in at number 13. Stardust, Big Show, Neville. Strowman comes in to join Harper at 17. So we got some of the Wyatts in there, which is interesting because Bray Wyatt was a big fan favorite and is a big kind of a fan pick to win this. So having some of the Wyatts in there, it was a little predictable to kind of have all them come out first before Bray, but I liked it. It followed storyline wise fine. Kevin Owens, man, your boy right there, number 18, came out hobbling. What a showman, man! Great showman. Hobbling, selling that leg.
He was still selling his injuries on Raw the next day.
Yeah, the guy's a master.
On SmackDown too.
Nice. Yeah, the guy's a master. And then immediately following him at 19 comes Dean Ambrose. He just can't shake him, No. Owens can't shake Ambrose. They just immediately start wailing away on each other again. And then, surprise, surprise, Sami Zayn comes out at number 20. I predicted this, that Sami Zayn would be in this on the podcast last week.
I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I thought it was a great spot for him. Why not? He's kind of an in-betweener, and he did the rehab thing, and now he's back down to NXT. But he got a dab of the main roster with Cena there, and I think that's kind of the right spot for him. And what better way to kind of just ease him in there like a gentleman is in the Royal Rumble.
Way to ease that in there like a gentleman.
Yeah. So Sami Zayn, and he wasn't in there for a terribly long time, but he had some good spots, and I liked him in this Royal Rumble. Ben, what do you think of Sami Zayn?
I like Sami. El Generico.
Yes.
I don't think they're the same guy. Kevin Owens says that El Generico is running him.
I love that they keep up with that. I love that.
The whole thing. So I like seeing Sami in there. I like seeing the NXT guys coming up. you got half the roster on the IR right now, so it's good to see these guys taking spots. The one complaint I have about Sami Zayn being in the Rumble, you had Goldust in the Rumble, you had Tyler Breeze, you had one of the social outcasts and all that. Why the fuck didn't you have Samoa Joe in it?
Yeah,
I would have liked to seen Joe.
Yeah, Harmon, I remember you predicted that, or you thought that he would come up. So that would have been perfect, especially tied in with AJ. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like that, like a stare down between those two. I mean, come on, like talk about writing itself. I mean, that right there.
So I did like the Sami Zayn spot. I hope they give us Zayn against Owens at WrestleMania, because I think the two of them could steal the show. But then again, you can put Owens with just about anybody right now, and they'd steal the show. So
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
He's the best.
I enjoyed him being in it. So
yeah, I don't know what the halt is with Samoa Joe. I mean, obviously, it's ridiculous to say, oh, he's ready, because I mean, he was ready before he got there. The guy's a star. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why he is staying down in NXT and hasn't shown his face on the main roster yet. It's a little silly. And that would have been a perfect spot for it, man. Just either a stare down between him and AJ, and then they start going at it, or they work together and kind of form a little bond or something, like anything. I mean, they have that tie-in, from TNA. So it's just and that's probably it right there, is that Vince doesn't want to even acknowledge that TNA exists. So
but here's the problem with not acknowledging it, and this is where my gripes start.
Sure.
So
you've been pretty docile the whole time. So here we go. Let's get into this.
We're getting to it. So here's my problem. At 72 years old, I don't give a fuck. Touch root reality, I don't give a fuck. You're basically clearing out New Japan, and you're clearing out Impact, and you're like, hey, these guys were big, they had big followings and whatnot. So Ring of Honor, or so on down the line. So you bring in Sami Zayn as the first cog. Send him down to NXT. He's got to learn the WWE way. Okay, great. You bring in more guys, and then you can bring in Kevin Owens. Go down to NXT. He's there for a month, and he's already on the main roster. You bring in Samoa Joe, who arguably is probably top 3 Impact heavyweight champions of all time, and he's still in NXT. And then you go and sign AJ Styles, who I feel is in the top 3 with Samoa Joe as champs, and you just throw him right into the Rumble. There's no fucking rhyme or reason what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
they
just
could have recycled the exact same story that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn played out, where they were friends and they were all happy for each other, and then Samoa Joe could have turned on him, or AJ could have turned on Samoa Joe, and I would have been happy as a clam, because I would have been just like, yes, instant feud.
Yeah, I think you guys are hitting it right on the head, man. I mean,
it's just the consistency. It's like they're insulting it's insulting the classic wrestling fans' intelligence, what they're trying to do, and that's where it's leading me to this whole gripe with this Rumble. If you're that far out of touch, it's time to step back.
Yeah.
You're losing those fans that have been there 20+ years to curtail to a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old who, yeah, mom and dad are going to buy them the merchandise and whatnot, but by the time they're 19, 20, you're going to have maybe a handful of those guys that are still fans when they get into, malehood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so right on.
It's just, fuck. There's no consistency.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I used to work for a guy who reminded me a lot of Vince. Obviously, I don't know Vince, but the same mentality. Like, he would pay people just if he liked you that week. He'd pay you more. If he didn't like you that week, he'd pay you less. all this kind of weird shit, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that Vince does. Like, maybe for some strange reason, maybe he just likes AJ Styles better than Samoa Joe, or I don't know. I mean, I have no idea, but maybe that's why. Because like you said, there is no rhyme or reason to it. It's not that AJ Styles is a better wrestler. AJ Styles actually fits more into the NXT style than Samoa Joe does. So it's like, it seems like those things are reversed. And Samoa Joe's been down there for a while now, and just you gotta bring him up, man. It's crazy. And I'm not even like the biggest Samoa Joe fan. I just think that the guy is who he is. I mean, obviously he's Samoa Joe. You just you got to get him up there. So
you have the consistency factor of for years Vince has been like, oh, if you're muscular and big, you don't have to worth a shit in the ring, and I'll put the strap on you, i.e. Roman Reigns. Okay, not that I think he's a bad worker, but he's got the look. Yeah, he's got the championship look. So why would Vince have a hard-on for AJ when AJ's 5'2" and he's a fucking great worker? It's just the consistency factor is thrown right out the freaking window.
Yeah, actually, that just reminds me. What you just said kind of reminded me of how small AJ looked next to Roman. Like, when he went to, and he kind of teased like, the Styles Clash, like at the beginning when it was just those two in. I was like, oh my god, like he could barely pick him up. Like Roman Reigns is a giant compared to AJ Styles. It just looked really abnormal, and I was like, oh, maybe I can. And again, like
Jericho was like 3 inches taller than him. I was like,
yeah,
you're a little guy.
Yeah. But, I don't know, man. So I don't know. Let's see what else happened around this time.
John's boy came out.
Who's that? Swagger?
Lesnar.
Oh, Lesnar. Yeah. Lesnar gets my blood pumping, dude. When his music hits, he's the only guy right now that when his music hits, I go, oh shit. Like, it's the equivalent of like Stone Cold's glass breaking, like The Rock's music hitting. You know what? And I'll even say it, like, man, sometimes when Cena's music hits, like, and it's like the right time, I'm like, oh, it hits my spine right. But Lesnar's gets me every time. It's just, I know shit is about to go down. And I love Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. I wish he had more of I wish it paid off for him, or at least, I don't know, I thought his elimination was weird, or he took it really, really well. I'm surprised that they didn't have like some axes and like a brand new car that he could just destroy after he got eliminated, because he just didn't do anything about it. Like, he eliminates like the entire Wyatt family except for Bray, and then they get back, and then when Bray comes out, the rest of the whole Wyatt family gets in the ring, and they just beat the shit out of Lesnar and toss him over. And Lesnar just looks back in the ring and goes, and walks away. Like, what the hell? That's not Brock Lesnar. Come on. I didn't really get that, but Lesnar caused a lot of damage in this Royal Rumble. I thought, he eliminated the Wyatt family, and he's just intense. And I don't know. Heyman was out there, and anytime I get to see those two out there, it's a good thing. Harmon, what do you think of Lesnar in this Rumble?
Yeah, he did quite a bit of damage in the 8 minutes and 13 seconds he was in there. He was in
right.
He defeated who did he defeat? Jack Swagger, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman, Luke Harper.
Oh man! Speaking of Braun and Lesnar, did you see when he just smashed Braun Strowman?
Yeah, he
strong Roman.
Yeah, it was like, listen here, tall beardy guy, you just caught a forearm to the face.
Yeah, well, it was weird because Strowman like just no-sold the first one, and Lesnar just pummeled him. He like just
no selling my stuff, huh? Not this one.
Oh my God, he like really hit him like right in the face. Strowman's huge ass just went down. I was like, holy shit, it was crazy. I would not fuck with Lesnar. Oh my God. I mean, even if I was Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
So.
Braun Strowman's 400 pounds of just big, ugly, and Brock Lesnar's like, I'll punch you right in the face. You don't sell my shit.
Yeah, you green fuck. He just destroyed him. Oh my god. So
Look at the Wyatt family in this Rumble. Luke Harper, 23 minutes 40 seconds, eliminated 4 people. Braun Strowman, 16 minutes 44 seconds, eliminated 5 people. Eric Rowan, 4 minutes 14 seconds, eliminated 2 people. Bray Wyatt, 10 minutes 46 seconds, 0 people eliminated. 0. He's the most useless member of the Wyatt family.
He eliminated a ton of guys last year too. Bray did. So I don't know.
It's like, oh, you eliminated people last year. You and Rusev aren't going to eliminate anybody.
Yeah, you're not gonna do shit.
You guys eliminated half of the Rumble last year. You guys can't throw anybody out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that was Bray's spot, though. I mean, I think Bray's, unfortunately, because I don't really love that position for him, but it's the thing where he's kind of like, he's the orchestrator. He can just tell these guys to his henchmen to kind of do things.
Until Luke Harper takes over the Wyatt family.
I just can't wait till Luke Harper breaks out on his own. I don't care that he takes over the Wyatt family. I just want him to just break away and be awesome. Because, dude, when he was away from the Wyatts, when they split up, he was like the IC champ. So, for at least a little bit. So I don't know.
He had that Chicago street fight match with Dean Ambrose. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
I love when he kicks somebody in the face. It looks like he's taking the biggest step ever and stepping on their head while they're still standing up.
Yeah, he's great, man. I like him. I like him a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it was really focused on Bray near the end, and it was a good way to get Lesnar out of there. And obviously, well, I don't want to say obviously because it's never, they can do whatever they want. But it sounds like it's going to be Bray Lesnar at WrestleMania. That's what they're maybe hinting at. So I don't know if I love that feud. I just don't know. It seems like Lesnar goes from one kind of like dark entity facing the Undertaker to another one with Bray, and I don't know. I'm excited to see Bray versus Heyman more in a mic challenge. That's going to be interesting, but I think you put Lesnar and Bray straight up in the ring. I think Lesnar demolishes him. No questions asked. But Bray has the family with him, so that's kind of like that's the kicker. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they write this one. But
yeah, it would have to be like a 4-on-1 for them to win against Brock.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, this is my more distaste for the Rumble. You've been setting it up for weeks. Bray's standing over Reigns. He's standing over friggin' this guy. He's standing over this guy. At the end of every show, it was the perfect opportunity to put the strap on him.
Yeah.
And you basically set it up like the Nexus, 5-6 years ago with Punk, where basically you have them all in there, and they're just eliminating one after the other. And that's when you put all the filler guys in, Tyler Breeze, and them guys. And you put that at the end, and Lesnar draws number 29, and you still got Reigns and Triple H that are still, got Reigns still in there, and Triple H going to be number 30, right? But then you have Brock slowly eliminate one after the other, and then you sell the rest of WrestleMania with Triple H and Roman Reigns, and then it comes down to Brock and Wyatt, the last ones, and you get them all back in the ring and do what they did. Eliminate him. Bray's the champion.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy that. I'd buy that more than probably would happen.
And now the thing is you got the marquee name, main eventing WrestleMania, going after the strap because he's pissed off at the Wyatts, but he wants the championship. And that feud works. It works because it's not the dark character against this guy. You know what I mean? It's Brock Lesnar chasing the gold because he's pissed off at the Wyatts. You know? And it just, oh my God, it's fucking horrible booking.
Yeah, my only thing with Bray as champ, and I definitely want to see it someday, and I would have been fine with seeing it on Sunday. Is just we've said it like a million times, is like he just doesn't need that belt, and I don't know if it's gonna just look awkward when he's like holding a championship. I think that his whole thing is he just wants to cause destruction, and that's his character, and he wants to control people, and that's it. I don't know. But that being said, I would have been fine with him winning it, and Triple H and Reigns just having their feud without the belt. I think putting it on Triple H was a weird choice. The longer the week went on, I was like, all right, well, I guess I don't hate this, but at the time, I definitely hated it, and I still don't like it. I'm just not like as disgusted with it as I was that night.
I do like how Bray didn't take orders from Triple H and attack.
See, okay, I was gonna bring that up too. Which I kind of liked that he wasn't taking orders. I agree with that, but what happened to his whole anyone but you, Roman, anyone but you? Because they had Roman Reigns, like that's where he was. They had him like on the cusp of just being eliminated, and then he just turns on Triple H. Like, what the fuck is that? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I feel like Bray is smarter than that. Like, I'm saying Bray Wyatt as an actual wrestler, not like the character Bray Wyatt. I'm saying, you know, him as a person, as a performer, is like, no, this doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do that because we would work together because we both hate this guy because we have a common enemy. Right. We could just eliminate him.
Then they eliminate him, and then he could beat Triple H up.
Sure, right, exactly. That's what makes sense. But, like, that's not what happened. And it blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? What happened to anybody but you, Roman? You know, like, I didn't get it. Anyway, Triple H, number 30. I was kind of excited to see Triple H at number 30. It was predictable, but for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason I kind of forgotten. I've forgotten it like right before it happened because I think I texted somebody like, hey, they're going to save this thing by having Daniel Bryan as number 30, right? And then it was Triple H, and I was like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, Triple H. I remember now. I remember what the internet told me. I was
pretty excited when Triple H came out because that's when you woke me up.
Yeah.
I was like, what did I miss? And you're like, Triple H is out there. That's awesome. Wait a second. And then you thought about it. You're like, no, wait, this isn't going to be right.
Oh, no, wait, he's going to win this. Oh, shit.
You started bitching about it before the match was even over. You're like, wait a second. They're going to have Triple H win.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that ending. Man, I got really excited when when the glimmer of hope that Dean Ambrose could be the Intercontinental Champion and the Heavyweight Champion at the same time. A lot of blood started to go down south, if you know what I mean, fellas. I thought that was amazing. I would have bought into that totally. What did you guys think when it came down to Triple H versus Ambrose? I mean, you get probably predictable, but I don't know. We'll say, Ben, what did you think?
Here's another gripe.
Yep, bring it.
You're setting up the main event of WrestleMania, and the guy who's going to win doesn't even eliminate the guy he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania last.
Right.
He eliminates his buddy, which it just doesn't make sense. You have to have Reigns go last. I could have bought it if, you know, I did have that little glimmer like you did that, hey, maybe Ambrose will win this thing. And then I was like, no, they're not going to do that because they're not going to put – as much as people like Ambrose, they're not going to main event Ambrose at WrestleMania. It's written into cards, you know? And
I'll say this. I don't love the fact that the Royal Rumble has so much impact on WrestleMania because it's such a long ways away that you know the main event of WrestleMania, and it's predictable, and it becomes very predictable, and
right.
You know, and so I like being, you know, having things up in the air. I like being surprised. So like, I don't mind Triple H winning this if it's not a guarantee that he's not going to defend it until WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like that's boring. Like now the next pay-per-view is going to be what, like a triple threat or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so the heavyweight championship's not even going to be on the line at the next pay-per-view. That's dumb.
Right.
Like, and so like, I would much rather have it just be not have anything to do with WrestleMania, especially in this instance where it's like, okay, the championship is on the line here, so unfortunately, like, this doesn't really affect WrestleMania. Like, we're just gonna write it out like how we would build stuff, and then Triple H wins, and then you're like, okay, well, he can lose it before WrestleMania, and knowing that, or at least having that like suspicion, then I could live with that. But it just looks like it's just a lock that he's going to carry this strap until WrestleMania, and I think that's just like there's no doubting it. Everybody's like, yeah, I mean that's how they do it, right? That's he's main eventing WrestleMania.
The
So
old days when you had to defend your title once every 30 days.
right,
That's not going to happen here.
no, and
Well, he's not going to wrestle until WrestleMania.
That's how Triple H won the European title back in the day. Remember, he won it from Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels hadn't defended it within 30 days, so he had to have a match, and he had it against Triple H, and they, did the finger poke.
yeah, man. I don't know. It just seems so strange that that the belt is on Triple H now, and I don't know. Like, I guess I get it to some extent, but I don't fully buy it. Where I'm like, there's so many wrestlers whose like dream is to be WWE champ, and it's just like I hate when guys get their 14th or 15th title reign, and it's like, come on, like, especially Triple H at this age, like, he doesn't need number 14. That's silly. Despite storyline.
The next time Roman Reigns wins the title, he'll be a 3-time champion within 6 months.
I know, isn't that crazy? And he's gonna win it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already predictable. I mean, I don't know, man. I would love to see like a really good swerve. I haven't seen a good swerve from them in a really long time. I think probably since like the Shield breakup. That was a good swerve, but it didn't really mean anything immediately. Like I want something.
I thought the Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania was a pretty good swerve. I did not see that coming.
Really?
I'm with you there, Harmon.
I thought he'd cash in at some point. I mean, maybe not at WrestleMania, but I don't know.
During the match. I mean, maybe after the match, but he did
yeah.
it during
Oh,
the
yeah,
match.
that's right, because he turned it into like a triple threat or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know. So let's see. Is there anything else you guys want to mention about the actual specific Royal Rumble that stood out? Harmon, you want to talk about the Miz at all? Nope. I do like how Kevin Owens grabbed AJ Styles and said, "Welcome to the WWE," and then yeah. Owens is great, so good. Yeah, there wasn't really any other huge highlights, I don't think. I'm looking down the list here, and
It's like I said, you're setting, and this is where I get into the whole insulting the old fans. We all know this sets up WrestleMania. It sets it up every year, and
then Fastlane's a throwaway.
It really is.
The whole thing. It was like they got lazy. The writers just got lazy and were like, you know what? I know how we can set up the main event. We're going to put Triple H in the main event this year. Blah, blah, blah. As the COO of the company, right, he's high-powered there. You cannot put the strap on him. Not a guy who wrestles twice a year.
And he's not in like great wrestling shape either. I mean, he really like does his greatest hits, and that's about it. Like, he's not doing anything and like too enjoyable to watch. You're like, oh, okay, well, there's the flying, there's the knee lift, there's like the atomic drop. All right, here comes the pedigree, and where's the sledgehammer? Cue the sledgehammer, and there we go. Yeah. There are your 4 moves of doom. Like, that's it.
And I was reading on one of the sites that they were like, well, they decided midway to change it up because the Florida crowd was hot for Triple H, and they were booing the hell out of Reigns. I don't care. You write the fucking match, and then you sell it. And if the fans don't like it, like they haven't the last 2 years, too fucking bad.
Well, if the crowd was hot for anybody that night, it was Ambrose. Like, if you're going to write stuff on the fly like that, I mean, the crowd went berserk when it was Ambrose. Like,
I know. It's just that what I'm saying is like, whether Triple H was going to go over or not, whatever, I don't care. You can't. What I read was that halfway through the match, the reason they took Reigns out was because they had decided to change it on the fly like that. And it's just like, if it's true, whatever. If it's not true, whatever. But
yeah, I don't know if I buy that or not. I think I think Vince is way too anal to be writing stuff on the fly like that. What do you guys think of Reigns taking so much time off, like during the match, like getting carted out and something, like walking back? I thought it was a little
with that. Okay.
Yeah, I have a little. I thought it was a little cop out.
They beat him down so bad that he has to get carried off. Why not throw him back in the ring while he's so beaten down and toss him over the top rope to eliminate him half an hour before he comes back? You know,
right?
Why leave the door open for him to come back? Why not roll his limp, lifeless body into the ring and let Brock was still in there. Brock could have tossed him out or something.
Right? Exactly. Or like he just can't compete. Like you just can't go to the back during the Royal Rumble because everybody would do it. What's stopping anybody from doing that? Rolling out of the ring, saying, "Oh, I'm hurt, my ribs hurt, I gotta go back," and then just coming back later. Why does Roman Reigns get the luxury of doing that?
The Miz sat outside and was on commentary for like 4 guys. It should be like the NFL draft. You miss your spot before the next guy comes in, you lose your pick, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and and whatever. Like the Rumble's fun. Like I don't think we need to be changing rules or anything. But there's a thin line of it being from it being fun to being it wildly not make sense that it's so unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like because we all watch this stuff through dedicated wrestling fan eyes, but if I were to show that to someone who just doesn't watch wrestling at all, or maybe just watches it, every once in a while,
their logic circuit is going to go off and go, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. They're going to be like, well, this is retarded. Like this doesn't even make sense. I would be totally understanding if you wanted to just walk out the room and never watch professional wrestling again because this doesn't make any sense.
But those are our friends that look at it and say, this is why I don't watch this bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. And we're like, oh, this is such a good example of why I shouldn't watch wrestling anymore.
I know. Like their question would be like, okay, so that guy's clearly out of this match, right? And I'm like, oh, he was never eliminated. And then somebody would go, all right, well, then why doesn't that guy just go out to the back? Like, why doesn't that guy just, do the same thing? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like the year that Kofi landed on his hands and did the handstand walk back into the ring. It's like he's got 2 appendages on the floor.
Well, I mean, come on, man. That's just cool. I mean, the rules are clearly 2 feet have to touch the ground.
His entire body is outside of the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. 2 guys that we haven't mentioned that were in this Rumble that were pretty much huge letdowns. Dolph Ziggler, I always have high hopes for, and I always want something good to happen to him. Pretty lackluster performance. Gets dumped by Triple H, which I didn't like because him and Triple H kind of have like a really kind of under the rug feud over the last couple years. Some of it backstage stuff, some of it just storyline, but I didn't like that Triple H eliminated Dolph. And Sheamus, we didn't really talk about Sheamus. We have a tendency on this podcast to forget about Sheamus, as does probably most podcasts, and most wrestling fans actually forget about Sheamus a lot. I don't know.
What's there to talk about him? He sucks.
Yeah, he didn't really do anything besides, the beatdown with Reigns, but I don't know. It was just like
Sheamus so forgettable that even when they give him the mic to talk, I forget what he says. It's just,
like instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember every hilarious thing that Kevin Owens has ever said and they're little highlights. I don't have any Sheamus highlights.
No, Sheamus is just. I think he's fine for what he is. He's an okay worker, but
it's gonna be a half an hour DVD.
Yeah. Oh.
Because you have a man crush on Owens, John.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
what's happening,
I
Harmon.
do.
Man crush. So.
It's like looking in a skinny mirror.
That's saying something. All right, man. Well, I am going to rate this match. Oh my God, this is a tough one. Ben, why don't you go first? Why don't you rate this match, Royal Rumble match, 1 to 10? What do you think?
1.
Really? You thought it was that bad?
You did not think it was a 1. Come on.
The booking alone sucks so bad.
Really?
That I fucking had no, like I said, and the worst part is I sat there and I fucking was pissed on high hell Sunday night and was pissed off half the day Monday. I said, you know what? Maybe they're gonna fucking get me back on Raw.
Wah, wah, wah.
That thing was booked just as bad as the Rumble. So,
It's true.
I don't know. I love the Royal Rumble. I mean, I get my wife to watch the Royal Rumble with me just so I can watch it, so I can pop on the freaking couch when freaking AJ Styles comes out.
Yeah.
You know, and other than AJ coming out, there's nothing that. Yeah, it was garbage, lazy booking, shitty booking, whatever you want to call it. And then I could have made a point on the card to say everybody could have won the title except maybe Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I kind of had that same thought as well about a lot of the participants. I was like, yeah, it's believable. I mean, if it happens, and it'd be swerved, but yeah, I'd believe it, you know?
yeah, it's the one event you can swerve the fans.
Yeah.
And they fucking dropped the ball big time. You
Right.
know?
Harmon, what did you rate this bad boy?
I'm gonna give it a.
Please tell me it wasn't a 1.
No, it's gonna be a 6.5, 7. I liked it.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the entrance list here, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but you had Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose in the main event in the Rumble. You also had Alberto Del Rio. How come Kalisto wasn't in there?
I don't know.
Is it because he landed on his head?
Probably. I don't know. They probably just, I don't know. Well, I think Del Rio probably because he's part of League of Nations, and so they kind of need him out there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I have no answer for that.
Yeah. Well, back to my rating then, 6.5, 7, because I think you built on some stories you can work on, and I think that's part of the Royal Rumble. You can change, your storyline arcs by who eliminates who and who works with who in the match.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn spot. You had the Jericho and the AJ Styles. You
Which
had the Wyatt
booked the next
family.
night.
Right.
What's that?
You booked that match the next night on Raw.
Right.
How stupid is that?
I think that was more for Jericho's benefit than anything. I think they're just at the point in his career where they're just going to let him do what he wants every once in a while.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I mean, you got the Wyatt.
That's a
You set up the
pay-per-view
Wyatt. I know it's dumb. I hate Jericho. His podcast sucks. His wrestling sucks. If I have to see
You
him
suck.
just wearing it, huh?
You suck.
Oh, wow. This is getting vicious. I'll say this. I don't think Jericho sucks, but now I just don't care about him now. I was a big Jericho fan back in the day. He does the same thing, similar to Triple H. He does his greatest hits. I think I even tweeted it out that night. I'm like, if I see Jericho skin the cat one more time, like I'm gonna lose my mind. Like I just can't see it anymore. Like he's doing it. It's just automatic. He's eliminated. Skins the cat, comes back in.
It's not even skin the cat. You brought it up while we were watching it. We talked about it. I think Tuesday. It was like when he gets the mic in his hands, it's 1999 again.
Right? Yeah.
He
But
has
not in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's so played out. He hasn't evolved, I don't think, at all.
Right. Hey, baby!
So
Anyway.
suck it, Ben.
Let's see. I'm gonna rate this thing. I'm gonna lean more towards the Harmon rating. Sorry, Ben. I thought I'm gonna go 6.5, 7. I thought compared to the last couple years Rumbles, I thought it was far better. It's weird, man. The transition of Roman Reigns over the last couple years, just in his Royal Rumble performances, has been so bizarre. You talk about like 3 years ago when he came in second to Batista, the crowd was absurdly behind him and really booed the shit out of Batista. And then a year later, nobody wants him to win that match, but they do it anyway because it was very predictable. And he wins, and the crowd boos the shit out of him. And this year, it was kind of like, either way. It's like, it's like, I guess we're just over this. We're not going to boo him or hey, I don't know. It just doesn't matter. He's probably not going to win anyway.
They booed the shit out of him again this year.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, it didn't come across to me that much as compared to last year. They were really on him last year.
Yes.
So maybe there was just a lot going on I didn't notice. But I don't not believe you. I think that's very believable that they would boo him. But again, like the transition, I think is just really bizarre. That that WWE just can't. They can't get ahead, with this guy. Like they're always just like a step behind. Like, and I don't think that we're being picky fans. I think that last year it was just like so predictable that we're like, Roman Reigns is going to win. This isn't going to be any fun because we're not going to be surprised. And then we basically straight up told WWE that, and they went, "Fuck you, we're going to do it anyway." And they just had him win. And then you have Roman Reigns headline a WrestleMania, like main event a WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, when CM Punk never main evented a WrestleMania, and that pisses me off that Roman Reigns did it within like the first 4 years of his, WWE career, and CM Punk never did. But anyway, I digress. I say 6.5, 7. I thought it was okay. Styles debuted. That was a big highlight for me. I don't know. And the more, like I said earlier, the more I thought about it over the week, I learned to come to terms with the Triple H winning. I still don't like it, but it doesn't make me want to throw up, I guess, anymore. I don't know why, but I handle it okay. So, anyway, whole card overall, guys, I thought was pretty good. Obviously, the highlight of the night being the Last Man Standing match, and then the Divas match I thought was pretty good, and then the Rumble I thought was pretty good for what it was. So, I don't know. What do you guys think on a whole level? I think we already talked about that a little bit, but after maybe some other thoughts sparked up, Harmon, anything changed from when we spoke about it earlier? You still think?
No, I
think it was pretty good.
I'm still going to give it a 7. It was a good. It wasn't great, but it was better than middling. It was a 7.
Yeah, and Ben, I assume you still thought it was garbage.
Yeah, no, I'm. You have the match of the year.
Yeah.
And then you follow it up with 2 shitty mid-card matches, a decent Divas match, and then a fucking shitty Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I say overall, a 5.
All right. Right on. I'm gonna lean more towards like a 6, I think. 6, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go 6. So, all right, fellas. Well, Ben, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. It was really fun to have you on the.
Guys.
No problem, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to do it again, let me know, and if not, that's fine. I had fun.
You're never invited back. No, of course you are, man. Always, anytime you get a minute, it'd be fun to have you on. So, Ben, anything before we go? Anything you want to plug? Anything you get going on in your world?
Yeah, no. Like I said earlier, we trying to get this fitness center going out here in the sticks, and dealing with banks and shit's a lot of fun. So Kodiak Fitness.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter. The the actual business has a Twitter feed. It's Fitness Kodiak, and I've been dropping those videos trying to get somebody to buy into my passion. So
Yeah, man. The videos are awesome, man. You're pumping some heavy weight out there, man.
I
crazy.
wish I would have taken this shit a lot more serious when I was younger. I'd probably be a lot stronger, but
Well, I wish I was a
keep
pro
posting
wrestler.
them, and hopefully out here and you guys are familiar with it, the sticks.
Absolutely.
Get this gym going, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. Cool, man. Well, again, thanks for coming on, Harmon. Always a pleasure, my good man, working with you. Harmon, where are you at on Twitter?
I'm at Harmon316.
Hell yeah, you are.
Hey, you still following all those porn stars?
There that is.
That's a different account, Ben. That's a different account. We don't talk about that on the show. Yes,
I love
the answer
having
is
Ben
yes.
on. Ben's bringing out some dark secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Jonny Fashion. You guys can follow us at smarkandmark.com. Follow us on Twitter, the smarkandmark.com Twitter account there, at smarkandmark_PW. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to plug? I think we're good, right?
Good.
Yeah, go visit WrestleCrates.
Yeah, WrestleCrate. WrestleCrate's great. I just got my WrestleCrate today.
Unboxing
Video.
video.
I'm going to load the video up in a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. Johnny Mondo.
Ben, you
Anyway.
should get WrestleCrate for your kids.
No,
Yeah, it's fun.
man, I got enough fucking wrestling shit in my house.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, and everybody, all the listeners, thanks for listening, and, well, peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Later.